Other than the skills that you have for the job, the most important factor in finding a new job is, of course, networking. That's right. The good old face-to-face way of knowing somebody who knows somebody who knows somebody. Once again, it's not what you know, but who. In fact, studies have shown that anywhere from 60 to 85% of jobs that people get are found through networking. In fact, a recent ABC News, which is one of the notable news sources in the US, found that 80% of the jobs landed came through networking. That's right, the good old way of knowing somebody who knows somebody. Not through posting your job on the job site, not through applying to monster.com, not from sending out 1,000 resumes waiting for the phone to ring. Nothing's better than relationship in finding work. And so your objective is to find that person on the inside to get you the connection. But nowadays, things have changed a bit. And so we're going to talk a little bit more about social networking, the importance of your brand, and the modern way of doing it. If you haven't realized already, social networking is changing the way that business is done. And in order to find a job, social networking is becoming the rule for which you can get work. In fact, recently, a New York Times article said, "Social media history becomes a new job hurdle." Of course, by hurdle, we mean a barrier to get over. Another social website or social networking site called Mashable found out that 90% of recruiters actually look to social networks to find out information about people that they're hiring. Similarly, a recent study by Microsoft found that 79% of recruiters actually conduct an online search for information about candidates. Now, the bad side of this is that in the New York Times article, as it said, that 70% of recruiters have actually rejected people because of information they found on their social networks. Well, a potential good side then that maybe some of you are thinking is if you are not on the social networks, hey, there's no bad information about me out there. Unfortunately, the bad side of that is that if you're not out in the social networks, then essentially you don't exist. In a recent article by BB Capitalist, the career coach Elizabeth Garone states the following. She says, "Your online presence is more important than your resume." She quotes Irene McConnell, who is an executive coach and director of Sydney-based Ariel Careers, who says, quote, "Failing to pay attention to your social media presence during a job search in 2014 is like driving with a flat tire. You might still make it to your destination, but it will cost you more time and money." McConnell also says, "Executives are expected to have an online presence which casts them as a thought leader, passionate about what they do and able to inspire others." Okay, so you're not an executive, so no problem. Well, McConnell goes on to say that we have entered into headhunting 2.0. What does this mean? Well, she says the following. She says, "Many jobs now, quote, aren't advertised on the traditional job boards, and the only way you would be considered for these roles is through having a strong online presence and personal brand." She also says, "Not having a strong and effective social media presence means your job search will be longer and it will be more difficult for hiring managers, recruiters, and HR to find you. Your online presence is more important than your resume. If you can't be found online, then you must not exist in today's market." So, what's the good side of this again? Well, the good side is that LinkedIn can help you connect with more people quicker. So if you're the type of person that's used to the older ways of looking for work, well, we're in the modern era. In this case, however, now, LinkedIn can be your friend. So you need to keep in mind that according to LinkedIn, as of May 2014, LinkedIn had 300 million users in 200 countries. It had 2 new users per second, and actually 200 conversations per minute. That's connecting with people. Now, maybe LinkedIn doesn't have as much power as the 1.3 billion people in Facebook, but compared to Twitter, which has 255 million people as of May of 2014, it's one of the powerhouse social networks, and you can use it as your tool now to find work. In fact, LinkedIn is where most of the hiring managers go to look for candidates. And if you aren't familiar with LinkedIn already, then it's good to know that it's the place where you can put all the information you want people to see. Information about your skills, similar information to what you would have on your CV. It's also a place where you can connect with people, create conversations, support different points of view, and essentially with following different companies, creating different topics of conversation, you begin to create a presence. This is your social networking presence, and this creates an awareness of people about you, your reputation, your personal brand.
Hi everybody, my name is Sandra Handler, and today we're going to look at a common mistake. Today's common mistake is ask to him. We don't say that in English. The correct structure would simply be ask him. You have to remember that we use the object directly after the verb. So you would say, ask him a question. The problem is that in some languages, for example, Spanish, you say, pregúntale a él. That a is often translated as to, and that's where the common mistake comes from. Students will say, ask to him, if he can come. No, we want to say, ask him, ask her, ask them something. You never ask to someone. The only time you use ask to is when you're asking for permission. Cuando pedimos permiso para hacer una cosa. For example, he raised his hand, or she raised her hand, and asked to go to the bathroom. Okay? But because we're using an action after that. If we're using an object, like a pronoun, okay, I would say, oh, I need to take Friday off. I need a vacation day. So I am going to ask my boss if I can have Friday off. Remember, don't say ask to him or ask to her. Ask him or her a question. And if you have any questions, you can always ask me. Thanks for watching. Bye, everyone.